Hey guys, what's going on? Dope Builds here, and today we're going to take an old Dell PC and breathe some life back into it. Today we we are going to resurrect an old PC from the dead. What we have is a Studio Slim 540S. It's a Dell PC, and again, it's very, very old, 10 years old. This thing has an Intel Core 2 Quad, the Q8200 4-core processor, runs at 2.33 gigahertz. It's got 4 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM. It's got a 500 gig Seagate hard drive, mechanical hard drive that runs at 7,200 RPMs. It's got a real basic OEM optical drive, and the operating system is Windows Vista Pro. Currently, it'll turn on, but it won't boot. I'm getting the BSOD error, blue screen of death, of unmountable boot volume. I looked it up. I consulted several people. We all agreed it could be fixed. It couldn't be fixed. I've got the Vista's disk. It would not let me fix it, reinstall it, wouldn't let me do anything. So I initially thought it was the hard drive. I thought it was a bad hard drive. Turns out it was not a bad hard drive. Anyway, we're going to do some upgrades. We're going to upgrade the hard drive. We're going to upgrade to a ADATA SSD, the SU240, 240 gigabyte. We're going to upgrade the RAM to 8 gigabytes of DDR2, and we're going to put a very basic, again, OEM light-on DVD player and burner for a grand total of about $70. That's everything. We're also going to update the operating system. We're going to go with Windows 10. We're going to do this in a very specific and organized manner. The first thing I'm going to do with the PC, obviously, I'm going to plug it in and I'm going to observe the behavior. After that, I'm going to clean and prep the PC. I'm going to get all the dust out of it. Then we're going to remove all the old components, install the new components, install the new operating system, all the updates, and we're going to add video software for the DVD player because Windows 10 does not offer DVD software with Windows 10. You have to physically install video software so you can watch movies with your DVD player if you so choose to do that, if you want that option. The guy I'm doing the computer wants that option, so I'm putting it on there. As outdated as it sounds, that's what he wants. We're going to put a media player called VLC, and I'll leave the link for it in the description down below. So enjoy the video and let me know what you think in the comments. Thumbs up, thumbs down, what up? All right, guys, we are going to go ahead as promised, and we're going to take this old machine and we're going to refurbish it, kinda. We're going to make it better. We're going to make it better. This thing won't even, it won't even boot to Windows. It's got Windows XP. It has an old Intel Core 2 Quad, which is I think it's about 9 or 10 years old. It might even be older than that. It's running Windows Vista Pro. Again, I tried to resurrect this thing. I couldn't do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to give her a facelift. The DVD player does not work. The gentleman who owns this machine wants a CD-ROM and DVD player. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to replace that for him. I'm also going to double his RAM. He's currently got 4 gigs total. He's got 4 1 gigabyte DDR2 sticks. I'm going to replace it with 4 2 gigabyte DDR2 sticks. Same RAM, same frequency, it's just 2 gigabytes more, so we'll have a total of 8 gigabytes in this machine. And then finally we are going to replace the HDD, which I believe was a 350 gigabyte HDD with a 240 gigabyte SSD, which should make a heck of a lot of difference. So yeah, we're going to go ahead, we're going to bust this open, and get to work. So let's begin, shall we? So we're going to remove this front panel, this front bezel. We're going to remove our side because we need this off so we can get to everything. Now the very first thing I did with this machine, before I did anything else, I opened it up and I cleaned it. When I figured out that I wasn't going to be able to boot it, I cleaned it, man. I vacuumed it out. This thing was packed with dust. This fan, you couldn't even see it. There was so much dust caked on it. I can't even, I should have took before pictures. Unfortunately, I didn't. But it is what it is, right? It's all clean now, though. I cleaned it up really, really well. This has a 350 watt PSU. Again, it's the old Intel, it's the quad, or the Intel Core 2 quad core. So the first thing I did after I cleaned it up was I went ahead and I went in and I took the fan off. I cleaned the fan up real, real good. And then I went in and I removed the, completely removed the fan. I took it out, the whole cooling element, and I removed the CPU. I cleaned it up real good, and I reapplied the thermal paste. So we're going to try to completely get this thing up and running. I don't know if this is going to work. We'll see. Hopefully it does. I got a good feeling about it because it does start up. I can get it to start. I just can't get Windows to boot. And I've got a Windows Vista Pro CD, and it's not having it. It's not doing it. But anyway, with these older systems, they're actually very easy to take apart. What I'm going to do is just take this, open this up, and boom. It's that simple. This is an old Dell. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm going to open this up, and let's see. We've got to pull this whole thing out. So what we're going to do, we're going to need to take this off. Alright, well, that is how you do that. We'll go ahead, we're going to break for just a second. We'll be back when we're ready to load Windows, install Windows on this machine, and hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we'll have some desirable results. And this thing's not going to fight with me too much. Now, this would in no means be a gaming machine. It's too old, the technology's just not there. But if you wanted to take a lower end, very inexpensive graphics card, a dedicated graphics card, you could put one in here and get something that'll play, I don't know, freaking easy games, browser games, stuff like that. Stuff that is not incredibly complicated or difficult, because the CPU just won't handle it. It's too old. But this for an everyday PC, just to do extra stuff with. Check your email, watch movies, browse the web, stuff like that. This would be a decent little extra machine. And it didn't cost the guy anything. It cost him $60 to upgrade it. He had it sitting in his closet. It wasn't doing anything. He's like, hey, instead of buying another computer, you think you could breathe mine back to life for under $100? I said, hell yeah, bring it over. Well, if I can't, I'll do my best to do it. So he said, go for it, and we went for it. Now we'll see if this is going to work. I have no idea. I've got pretty good feeling about it. I think we should be all right. I don't anticipate any major issues, but again, we'll see that. See what that is when we come back and we try to install Windows on this. We'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I got everything plugged in. Okay, let's flip this bitch on, see what she does. F2 to get into the BIOS. Yep, turned on. Got a posting beep going to the setup. Windows. Oh, it automatically loaded Windows. I didn't even have to change the boot order. I forgot I put the USB in. Alright. Alright, well shit. It went right into Windows. I didn't have to change the interesting. Okay, so alright, well we booted to Windows. So let's go ahead and get Windows loaded and we will be back. Alright, well shit, look at that. We got it installed. Let's see, let's go down to personalize. We're going to go back to settings, home, update and security, check for updates. There's going to be a bunch of them. Oh, there's only one. Oh, so I got to reconnect to the internet. I pulled the internet cord because it wouldn't let me install Windows. It was giving me a hard time. Alright, let's see here. The PC's inside. Now we're allowing this. Where's? No. Don't discover shit. Your device is missing important security and quality fixes. Got a whole list of them that came up. Alright, well. Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. Alright, so we're going to let them do that, and we will be back. Okay, so everything is installed. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to check the difference between the speed of an SSD versus an HDD. Now, this is on an older system. Again, this is the Intel Q8200. It is a quad core. It's an older CPU. It's about 10 years old, give or take. And this system has 8 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM. We were able to install an SSD. We got Windows fully installed, all updated on both drives. This has an SSD that's got a 250 gig SSD, and it's got a 500 gig Seagate 7200 RPM HDD, which we're going to use as a storage drive and what I call a phantom operating system in case we have an SSD failure. So let's go ahead. Right now, the SSD, I have it. It's not even connected. This is just the HDD. So we're going to check the load time on this. So let's go ahead. Let's shut this down. Okay. Now let me get a stopwatch up here on my other PC. Stopwatch. There we go. Okay. So let's get this, and we're going to 3, 2, 1, boot. There's our posting beep. Okay, we're at 15 seconds. We're at 24 seconds. We're at 40 seconds. Little spinny wheel has stopped. So 43 seconds for the HDD. I do kind of know that it's not loaded yet. Let's see. See the spinny wheel still going? That means it's not fully loaded into Windows. If we try to open something like this, let's see. Try to open our browser explorer, or our file explorer. I'm sorry. Yeah. See, it opens it real slow. It's because it's not done loading yet. So we stopped the first spinning wheel at 43 seconds. I'm going to say it's closer to a minute before we have any kind of response time. Now it's loaded. Now it responds the first time we click on the icon for the file explorer. Comes up. Okay, so Windows loads. Well, in all fairness, let's say a minute. I got it. I stopped it at 43 because the spinning wheel stopped, but then it started again. It was still loading files, doing its thing. So about a minute to fully load before you can use Windows without any delay, without any kind of pause. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our HDD. We're going to disconnect our HDD. We're going to reconnect our SSD. And see how quickly that loads. Okay, let's go into sleep. Let's take our power off. We're going to hold our power button in for 10 seconds. Make sure all power's out of this system. And it is. There goes my light blinked. Means that power is clear. Okay, so now we're going to take our SSD. We're going to plug that back in. Come on, goddammit. Dude, seriously? Okay. SSD is reconnected. So we're going to start it without the HDD being hooked up. Oops. Guess I better plug that in if I want it to power up, right? Because I want to make sure that the boot order changes and it doesn't boot from the HDD, because I booted it from the HDD, so automatically BIOS is going to put the HDD in the number one spot for the boot order. We want the SSD in the number one spot, so by default it boots from the SSD, because the HDD is just, again, a phantom OS in case the SSD fails at any time. He can get into his files. Okay. There we go. Start. Let's see. "20 seconds. Oh, we're in. Okay, so let's see if she is responsive yet. Spinny wheel's still going. First time we clicked, it came right up. So 25-second load time. So half the time. The SSD lets us load in over half the time. That was just under. It's actually 23 seconds. I started the stopwatch because I late because I turned the PC on first. Or I hit the stopwatch and then I turned the PC on because it was so far apart I couldn't reach them at the same time. But anyway, there you go. So now what we're going to do, the final thing we're going to do on this PC is we're going to shut this down real quick. I'm going to reconnect the HDD. I guess I can spin this for you so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go over there. Okay, we're going to take the power out. We always power down. Anytime you go into a PC, man, unplug your power. Unplug your power, unplug your power. Don't take chances. Okay, so we're going to hold our power button. Okay, our light here back on the PSU flash. That means there's no more power in the system. We're going to reconnect our HDD. HDD's reconnected. I will take some zip ties and probably tie these wires off and cables off. But I mean, there's really nothing to tie off with these older systems. There's absolutely no room on the back side of this. I mean, there's no room at all. So there's really no cable management to be done in the back. It is what it is. These aren't like the new gaming full towers. Your space is very, very limited with these. So, yeah. Okay, let's plug her back in. And now we're going to finalize. Everything is completely updated. The Windows, the operating system, is completely updated on both drives, on both the SSD and the hard drive, the HDD. Now, the mechanical hard drive took 5 times as long to update the Windows 10. It did it in about a little under an hour on the SSD. On the mechanical hard drive, the HDD, I kid you not, I went to bed at about 10 or 11 o'clock last night, and I started it, and I woke up at 4 in the morning to use the restroom. I came in, and it was still updating. So it took, I'm guessing, around 5 hours. It was done when I finally woke up this morning, but... Okay, so we're plugged back in. Let's go back over here. Okay, let's turn her on. And there she goes. There she goes. Wow, booted up even quicker that time. 22 seconds. 22 seconds. So let's, comes right up. Look at that. So there's a huge difference in that SSD, even in an older system. Again, this is an this is an old Dell. The Studio Slim, they called them. Studio Slim 540S. Let's see what year that came out. Studio Slim 540S. Studio Slim 540S. There it is. You can get one for $28. Oh, what year did it come out? Oh, $41.99. Free shipping too. Yep, there it is. That's the exact same PC that we just refurbished. Or upgraded. I don't know that we so much refurbished it as upgraded it, but... Okay, what year... Okay. What year was the February 2009. So, yep, I called it right. About 10 years, give or take. That's exactly what I called it. 10 years old. February 4, 2009. Huh. All right, well, okay, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to go into our personalize. Okay, and now we're going to go into our settings. And storage. Okay, now as you can see, we've got two drives. This is the hard drive. This is the mechanical drive. It's identifying it as two different drives. This is the storage space. This is just the backup partition on the hard drive. This is our main. This is our SSD, the C drive. And the reason it's got so many drives, I mean, there's like 5 or 6 different. They identify it as a mass storage devices or media devices because this old thing has it's got the CD, DVD, ROM. It's also got it's got multiple what do they call a frickin' SD storage? The micro SSD or micro SD. Yeah, micro SD and all these things. I've got this, which is a multi-reader. Well, it's got all of these that I have in the front of the computer. So it identifies on this media devices. That's why it's C, D, E, F, G, H, and then I, J would be the physical HDD. But anyway, so now we're going to do change how we free up space, change how new content is saved. That's what we want to do. We want to go in there. See, now right now, it's going to save apps, it's going to save new documents, music, photos, movies, offline map, all that stuff is going to get changed to the C drive, but we have limited space on our C drive, so we don't want that. We want to change this. Okay, this is a system reserve, the I drive. That's the backup partition. Local disk J, that's where we want to put everything. So that's going to put everything onto the J drive, the 500 gig hard drive. I'm going to change that for him. So now this will automatically save everything onto his J drive, our storage drive, so we don't waste our room on our SSD. Now drivers, say if you wanted to put Steam on here or stuff like that, yeah, you put that on your C drive. Any smaller apps that has to do with functionality as far as Windows, like say if you wanted to put OBS, he wanted to do some streaming, he probably could on this PC now. He put the OBS on the C drive. There we go. Okay, and finally, last but certainly not least, I'm going to show you guys this. Let's go into this PC. We're going to take a look at our drives. I'm going to show you that. Go into Manage. Okay, now we're going to go into Storage, our disk management. And there's all the drives that we have. We've got a C. We've got a removable D. That's a media drive. We've got 2, 3 disks, 4, 5. The 5 is that's the HDD. As you can see, 465 gigabytes of space. This is the system reserve partition right here to back up the Windows, the second Phantom operating system is here on the J drive. So again, if something were to go wrong, if this were to get corrupted, the C drive, the SSD, boom, all the information that was stored, that we just changed to store on this drive, can be accessed through the SSD. Now, it takes longer to get into because it is a 7200 RPM SSD, and the read speeds and the write speeds are significantly slower, but it's still accessible. If something went wrong, this is a business guy, man. He keeps a lot of his files, his client files, on a computer. If he needs to get to that file, if something fails, he's got a backup. He's got an insurance plan. And then finally, of course, our F drive is the CD-ROM, which we're also going to test. I won't do that, bore you guys with that. That's pretty basic. But that's it, man. Everything is done. Everything is updated. And yeah, we're good to go, man. So that's how we do that. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you maybe learned a little something. Oh, one more thing I'm going to show you. When you add a backup, let's say you add an SSD and an HDD. Now, after you have your SSD and your Windows and everything on a new build, on a brand new build, you're going to have to go into here, all right? You have to go where I just showed you, disk management. You're going to have to come down here, and you're going to have to create this volume. You're going to have to create this volume, and you're going to have to format it. Okay, we're not going to do it, but I'll show you format, volume label, whatever you want the label to be, storage, da-da-da. Perform a quick format. Your file system, NTFS, is what you're going to want to use. And your allocation unit size, just leave it default. Now, we're not going to do that because we don't want to erase what's on there, because I've got the backup operating system on there and all that other good, happy horse jazz. I am not going to put Chrome on here. I don't know what he likes, what he wants. So we're going to just leave him with Microsoft Edge. This is basically like a brand new computer, and he can do with it what he wants. I will get him in here. I'll show him everything I did, kind of give him a crash course and some recommendations. I would recommend Chrome. I'm not real hot with Microsoft Edge just yet. It is said to be pretty good from what I'm hearing. I didn't give it a chance at first, but I'm hearing that the Microsoft Edge is pretty damn good. Better than Chrome, better than Firefox, better than Opera. I may switch over to a Microsoft Edge yet. I'm slowly becoming a believer. I played with it a little bit on my own PCs. But we'll see. I'm a creature of habit. I'm so used to Chrome that I'm almost biased to Chrome. But if it's faster, it's faster, and who knows? Maybe even an old fart like me can change and try something new. But that's going to do it for me. That is our Project Refurb for Dope Builds Gaming. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you next time. Peace out, much love, rock and roll, and we will see you the next time we do something like this. Peace.